Place your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That brings us to announcements, and our first announcement tonight is the Community Arts Enhancement Award for Willowbrook Arts Camp. And we have Janet Steiger is here, along with Julie Ludeman and Sarah Hinton. Welcome. Hopefully Sarah here too, or no?
Yes.
There you are. All right.
And Shanna.
All right.
We'll let them come up later.
Yeah.
So, good evening, Mayor Bubenick and members of the council. We do have a presentation. I'm not.
News debates.
We got to show the pictures. If not, we'll just talk about it.
No,
Maybe we'll just
that's
talk
mine.
about it.
Hey, we can do that.
All right. Well, if that's the case, this one we're going to save for later. That was a preview for all of you. But I am here as the recreation manager and staff liaison to the Tualatin Arts Advisory Committee. And our esteemed chair of the Tualatin Arts Advisory Committee, Janet Steiger-Carr, is here to talk about our most recent recipient of the Community Enhancement Award, which is Willowbrook Arts Camp.
10 years of being on the committee and 6 of being the chair, this is the first time I presented this. Here goes. The Community Enhancement Award is created to recognize individuals and organizations for their contributions to significant art endeavors and experiences within the Tualatin community. The Tualatin Arts Advisory Committee identifies awards candidates and makes recommendations to the City Council. Past recipients include, I'm not going to read the entire list, but last year, or 2024, was Mitch Charter School, and back in 2011 was Althea Pratt Broom for Willowbrook Arts Camp. She was the one who started it on her front porch. Woohoo! 2026 award recipient is Willowbrook Arts Camp. Since 1982, Willowbrook has provided hands-on arts experiences for children across dozens of disciplines, from ceramics, basketry, stained glass, to theater, music, and creative writing. Willowbrook's sustained presence over the decades has woven arts education into the cultural fabric of our city. And,
Next slide. Thank you, Bates.
pictures of some of the excited campers at Willowbrook Arts Camp. And that, one more slide.
And one more slide with some lovely pictures.
Yes, we gotta have pictures of those kids doing art. And that concludes.
So we're really happy to be here today to present this award to Sarah Hinton, who is executive director, and Shanna, and I don't know why I was blanking on your last name, and Shanna Doolittle. And so they have been here with Willowbrook for the past 2 years and have really done a fantastic job of reinvigorating that program. We're really excited to have them over at Browns Ferry Park. I know they're in the middle of staff training and setup and everything else, and they've been out there in this heat. I really want to say thank you to them for all of their efforts to continue to bring this really, really unique summer camp program to Tualatin. And as Janet mentioned, it's been a part of the fabric of our city's culture for quite some time. So I want to say thank you and invite them up to accept their 2026 Community Enhancement Award.
And it is the oldest arts camp in all of Oregon. I know this. I taught at one for 27 years. Yes, indeed.
All right, and then.
So I'm going to give them a moment. You want to say something first?
Well, we'd love to thank Julie.
You're going to can you come to the mic?
Right here.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Thank you.
Julie is a great help to us, especially last year when we were both brand new and had to get summer camp off the ground in about 5 months or less. And so we are really grateful for her and the rest of the department that kind of supports her and supports what we do, especially their facilities team who really helped us with things like knowing how to get water to camp and things like that. We can't do it without that sort of thing. And so we're just really grateful to all of you for helping this be part of Tualatin's history and an option for families.
All right, well, thank you both for all your efforts in making the camp a reality again this year.
Yay.
So with that, Councilor Brooks, who is the arts liaison is the city councilor to the Arts Committee, will present the award.
Move this thing right over here so that we can have
Yeah.
nice photo opportunity.
Yep.
Thank you.
You got Megan and Julie competing here. Yeah.
This is the arts in action.
Well, Megan. Megan's got, all right. All right. All right, congratulations. Item number 2 is National Pollinator Week presentation and proclamation. Adam Peterson and Tom Steiger, welcome.
Hey folks, Adam Peterson. I am here as the T-Park Chair. I'm happy to be here to present Pollinator Week and all the cool stuff that's going to be happening June 22nd and June 28th. Next slide, please. To begin, Bee City USA, I'll read this so you don't have to. Thinking globally, acting locally, Bee City USA provides a framework for communities to work together and conserve native pollinators by increasing the abundance of native plants, providing nest sites, and reducing the use of pesticides. Bee City USA affiliates make commitments to conserve native pollinators laid out in a resolution adopted by the local city council. City staff and community members work together to carry out these commitments and make their city a better place for pollinators.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Tom Steiger. I'm the Parks Maintenance Manager for the City of Tualatin. The next slide contains some statistics of our accomplishments in 2025. We planted 1,100 pollinator plants, covering 31,500 square feet of parkland. That's about 3/4 of an acre. We had 5 different planting events and activities that engaged volunteers, students, and like-minded people across our park system. The total number of those volunteers was 350 people.
Next slide, please. So the benefits of having bees and a pollinator city are ensuring the survival of our vital animal species, building community locally and nationally, improving local food production, supporting small business, and addressing pest problems with fewer pesticides, as well as heightening awareness of biological diversity.
Some pollination facts. What pollination does. Pollination is a vital stage in the life cycle of all flowering plants. Pollinators are critical to the native species ecosystem. An estimated 1/3 of all foods and beverages is delivered by pollinators. In the U.S., pollination produces nearly $20 billion worth of products annually. How can you help? Help pollinators by planting pollinator-friendly gardens. Reduce the use of pesticides to support pollinators.
And getting involved, for anyone who's interested, the Audubon Backyard Habitat Certification Program, Friends of Trees, Byram School Pollinator Garden, Nationwide Parks for Pollinators, Bee City USA of Tualatin, and we do have an opening on T-Park for anybody who is interested. There is one opening, so that you can help by committee involvement.
Any questions or comments?
Any questions or comments about Pollinator Week? Yep, Well, you're doing the proclamation, so you get that time. Go ahead.
Well, I'll do the proclamation, but I just want to say too that Xerces, which is an overarching organization of the Bee City USA program, has its own YouTube channel. So it's worth going to the Xerces YouTube channel and checking out this month's Pollinator Month program. It goes very into depth about pesticides, how long pesticides, especially like in woody plants, they can last years inside of a plant, more about fungicides, pesticides, and all kinds of things. And there's a really handy dandy list that you can download that you can take to your garden center and ask them if they utilize those kinds of pesticides. And if you want to know why you would want to do that, you got to watch the thing and then you'll want to. That's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, so proclamation. Whereas, thank you guys for your work. I appreciate it so much. And I don't know how you're doing now without your coordinator on all the volunteer events with your new partner but Jackie did a lot of work.
Yeah, Kate, her replacement, has stepped right in.
Doing
and-
gangbusters.
Oh, yeah. Yep,
Great.
yep.
Okay, so whereas pollinators, such as thousands of species of bees, are essential partners in producing much of our food supply, and whereas pollinators provide significant environmental benefits that are necessary for maintaining healthy, diverse ecosystems in towns and cities, and whereas pollination plays a vital role for the trees and plants of our community, enhancing our quality of life and creating recreational and economic development opportunities. And whereas the City of Tualatin manages parks, public landscaping, and other public lands that include greenways, natural areas, and wildlife habitats. And whereas the City of Tualatin provides recommendations to developers and residents regarding landscaping to promote wise conservation, stewardship, including the protection of pollinators and maintenance of their habitats. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the City Council of the City of Tualatin, Oregon, that the City of Tualatin designates the week of June 22nd through 28th, 2026 as National Pollinator Week in the City of Tualatin, introduced and adopted this 22nd day of June 2026. Thank you.
So with that, Councilor Brooks will present the proclamation to both of you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't go too far, Tom, you're up again. Yep. So item number 3 is new employee introduction, Parks Maintenance and Public Works Helper Emily Hoff, introduced by Tom again. Yeah. Welcome back.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Tom Steiger, the Parks Maintenance Manager for the City of Tualatin. It's my pleasure to introduce to you Emily Hoff. Emily is our new full-time Parks Maintenance / Public Works Helper. It's a new position. She was hired on March 16th of 2026. Emily comes to us from Eagan, Minnesota. She carries a bachelor's in environmental science from the University of Wisconsin. She worked as a seasonal parks worker for 8 years for Plymouth, Minnesota, and also for a nonprofit organization called Tree Trust. And as I understand it, you were doing complimentary work for private property owners,
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. She also was she primarily worked in a town called Plymouth, Minnesota, which is a town of about 80,000 people, which was also a suburb of Minnesota, or Minneapolis, right?
It was westward of Minneapolis, yes.
West, okay. Emily's hobbies include card games, travel. I know since she's been here, she's been to Vancouver, BC, and I think she's planning another trip because she's inquiring about days off already. But she's done a lot of really great work with us this spring. Spring is a great time to come on board on the Parks Department. She participated in the Arbor Day celebration. She said she remembered meeting the mayor there, so she feels very comfortable sitting up here. And then she's been a part of Blender Dash and all the other many activities that happen in our parks in the springtime. We've got her trained up real well here in the last 3 months, and just last week she shipped over to Public Works and she's in the Streets Division. But we will get her back in the middle of September, and we're really looking forward to that. Might ask what would bring Emily out here from Minnesota. Emily was raised up in a military family and spent 4 years in the Pacific Northwest in Washington, in and around Fort Lewis. So she realized that she would like to get back to the Pacific Northwest, and this granted her an opportunity to do so.
All right, well, welcome, Emily. It's also because you're trying to get away from the snow, right?
Not really.
Harsh winters.
I just wanted something, being military, I just wanted a shake-up of the landscape, you know?
All right, so the floor is yours if you'd like to take a few minutes to introduce yourself a little bit more.
Well, to talk to Tom being like, well, Emily's planning another trip just to kibosh some stuff. I did go up to Vancouver to play some card games, but I'm also going, the second trip is also card game related, going to Amsterdam. Love to travel. It's part of the military thing as well.
Yep.
Just so happens, just going up to Amsterdam for the week with my friends. I haven't been there yet, so it's going to be very interesting, very fun trip. I just love working outside. I love working with trees, environmental. I originally went to college to do graphic design, if you can imagine, and like work in the video game industry. And then I realized I would go crazy sitting in a cubicle all day. So working outside has just been a pleasure, and it's been really nice coming to Alton and being greeted pretty much with open arms. So it's nice. It's been nice.
Welcome. Amsterdam is a fantastic city. Hopefully you have a moment to check out how their public works and their parks, because you'll see a fairly large city, but fantastic public amenities and parks and bike access and stuff like that. So I encourage you to definitely go to Amsterdam.
I drive my friends crazy because I'll look at planters and I was like, why are there carpet flowers here? I was like, it makes no sense. And they're like, how do you know this? What do you know about me? Yeah, so.
All right, well, welcome, and hopefully you'll stay with us quite a bit in your career and move on up through the departments.
I hope so too. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up are new employee introductions. Our new 4 police officers. Chief Pickering will introduce them.
Well, good evening, Mayor and Council. While my team makes their way up here, I'll just say we're super excited to be introducing 4 new officers tonight. This brings the department fully staffed, so this is a huge endeavor for us, and we're excited to bring these 4 on. So, all right, so I'll start here to my left. Caden Odom Crotchet started May 11th, grew up in Hillsborough, attended The Ohio State University, where he earned a bachelor's in criminology. Caden comes to us with 4.5 years experience from Gladstone Police Department, and he's currently in field training on night shift right now, so we're excited to have Caden as a lateral officer. Directly here to my right is Drew Rind. Drew also started on May 11th, grew up in Beaverton, was in the U.S. Navy, then attended Portland State, where he earned a bachelor's in communications and worked for the Beaverton Police Department for a year before coming to Tualatin. He's also an FTEP, since they both ended the academy. They go right into field training. Drew is also on night shift. On the far end there is Brandon Morse. Brandon joined on May 13th. Grew up in Canby, attended Oregon State University, go Beavs, and studied finance and management. He worked for his family's junk removal company for several years before coming to Tualatin PD. And he's currently at the academy. He's thankfully on a break for the holiday coming up, so we were able to get him back here. And so he will graduate in August from the Basic Police Academy and go to field training. And then next is Morgan Acker, who also started on May 13th. She grew up in Portland. She attended OIT, where she studied biohealth science and pre-med. She was a medical assistant and medical scribe before coming to the police department. She's awaiting her academy date, which is in August. She'll graduate in November and then start her field training. So we're really excited to have all four with us, and again, to bring the police department fully staffed.
Super excited to have our police department fully staffed. Also very much enjoyed attending your swearing-ins, as did Council President Pratt. It was amazing to see the support of your family and friends. The room was packed with folks, which was terrific to see the support that you do have in these very tough jobs. If anyone would like to make a comment, the floor is yours. Don't be shy.
They're all excited to be here.
All right. But with that, thank you for joining our department. Thank you for transferring over. Best wishes on getting through the academy. I know you will. Getting folks on the street. And as Chief Pickering has told you, we're very community policing based. Well, I know we'll see all your faces at Tualatin, night out and stuff like that. Hopefully you can make the rounds and interface with the community, start to learn who the people are in a very friendly situation versus an awkward or difficult situation. So thanks again for joining our department. And
Thank you very much.
Thanks for taking time out from your evening. All right, so that finishes off our announcements, and that brings us to public comment. Public comment is an opportunity for someone in the audience or in Zoom to address the City Council on an item that is not on tonight's agenda. Please keep your comments to about 3 minutes. If there's anyone here who would like to address the council, this would be the appropriate time. I have one person signed up, but you do not have to be signed up. So I'll go ahead with Mr. Renfro. You're welcome to come in and address the council. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you, council members. My name is Jerry Renfro, and my wife and I have lived in Tualatin for 28 years, and our kids have gone through the school system, and their kids are currently in the school system. And we have a couple grandsons who are 12 years old, and they like to fish. Now, a couple of years ago, they discovered that fishing at the Tualatin Commons Lake was a fun place to fish. And everything they caught, they would release and let go back into the lake. And I think fishing is a great social activity. The young men learn from each other. They're very good about communicating with each other, caring for each other, and it is just a good thing. And it cuts down on the iPad screen time and the cell phone usage, so I think it's good. Recently, before Memorial Day, signs went up at the Commons Lake saying no fishing. And that's why I'm here today. I'm here to see if we could set aside a place at the Tualatin Commons Lake so these young fishermen could have fun fishing. And it wouldn't be anywhere near the south end where the restaurants are. I think we want to stay out of that area and just stay out of the way there. It'd be at the far end of the lake. It's the north end, and I think they would respect that. It's a good place because it's easily accessible. I would say it's safe, and the young ones are visible. And I think that's important too, being able to see your kids. They fish on the Tualatin River as well, and they have fun doing that. But now the docks are pretty busy. At least, Browns Ferry and Juergens Park, Yeah, and even the boat ramp in Tualatin Park. This morning, we ran into 17 young kids coming to kayak, and I mean, it's just busy, so it's kind of hard to find a spot on the Tualatin River. So I worry a little bit when the kids say, well, we're going to fish on the Tualatin River, and it just makes me a little nervous when they're out of sight, and it could present some danger. I'll just tell you one example that these kids have come up with. Just downriver from Tualatin Park, along the bank, there's a big tree, and around this big tree is a rope, and the tree is good like that. And so they have this rope, and this rope drops down what I think you would all call a cliff. It's mild, and so they got down there, and I'm bringing up the rear, and my grandson Rylan says, "Papa, stay up there." Now, I'm 73. I could get down there, but he's worried about me. And anyway, I worry a little bit about them trying to find a spot and not being in clear sight. So I just hope we can find a space for these kids who aren't involved in summer activities, sports camps, and things like that, where they can just go out, be outdoors, have fun with each other, and fish. And I wouldn't want to promote it, and draw people into Tualatin Lake to have too many people there. I think, maybe a word of mouth, little fisherman to fisherman, is probably the best. And once they get into high school, they don't have the time for it. They have a lot of activities going on, but at this age, when they're going through middle school, I mean, it's just been delightful for me to watch them and bring back some of the memories my dad and I had. So if you have any questions or anything like you would like to know, please feel free.
Well, go ahead and take it under consideration because we were going through our core area analysis. The CAC, the Community Advisory Committee on that, is looking at all different uses of the lake. I also know our Parks Director has some opinions on this too. My first thing that comes to mind is, trying to keep, it's not to stock the lake that they could actually catch something would be an issue, but, we can always vet it out in the future and circle back with you.
There's a lot of fish in there. I didn't even know this till a couple of years ago. There's more fish in there than you would know. And quite a number of different types, bass, crappie, carp, sunfish. Yeah.
Okay.
And they learn a lot.
All right. Well, thank you for coming tonight.
All right. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No problem. Anyone else in the room who'd like to provide comment? See none. Do we have anybody in Zoom? All right. So with that, I'll go ahead and close public comment, and we'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of items that are considered routine. They'll be adopted by one motion unless a councilor would like an item removed and heard separately later tonight. We've been told Councilor Gonzalez has asked for item number 5 to be removed from the consent agenda and moved to be heard later tonight. So I'll go ahead and read the remaining consent items on the agenda. So the consent agenda tonight consists of item number 1, consideration of approval of the work session regular meeting minutes of May 26, 2026. Item number 2, consideration of resolution number 5961-26, authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Washington County for pavement overlay on Graham's Ferry Road. Item number 3, consideration of resolution number 5962-26, awarding and authorizing a contract with Doolittle Construction for slurry seal work as part of the 2026 pavement maintenance program. Item number 4, consideration of resolution number 5963-26, authorizing the City of Tualatin to execute an agreement with Washington County for congregate meal programs at the Juanita Pole Center. Item number 6, consideration of resolution number 5966-26, awarding and authorizing a contract with James W. Fowler for construction of the Martinazzi Sewer Trunk Upsizing Priority 3 and 4 project. Item number 7, consideration of resolution number 5967-26, approving a new stop sign installation at Southwest 89th Avenue. Item number 8, consideration of resolution number 5968-26, authorizing personnel services updates for non-representative employees for fiscal year 2026-2027. Item number 9, consideration of resolution 5969-26, approving and authorizing provisions of workers' compensation insurance coverage to volunteers of the City of Tualatin. Item number 10, consideration of resolution 5970-26, authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Diversified Abilities, Inc. for janitorial services at city facilities. Item number 11, consideration of resolution number 5973-26, authorizing changes to the fiscal year 2025-2026 adopted budget. Item number 12, consideration of resolution number 5975-26, authorizing the city manager to execute a reimbursement agreement with the Lake of the Commons Association. Item number 13, consideration of resolution number 5976-26, authorizing the city manager to execute an intergovernmental agreement with Clean Water Services for the preliminary design of the 108th Avenue Sewer Project. And finally, item number 14, consideration of resolution number 5977-26, authorizing the city manager to execute an intergovernmental agreement to provide municipal court services to the city of Durham. Phew, I think that's a record. All right. So again, item number 5 has been pulled from consent, but the rest of the items are still there.
I move that we adopt the consent agenda with the exception of item number 5 as read.
I second it.
Any discussion on those motions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? And I believe Councilor Sacco said aye.
I did.
All right. All right. So the consent agenda is passed, less item number 5. That brings us to special reports. First item is the annual report of the Tualatin Arts Advisory Committee, and that will be led by Janet Steiger-Carr. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And Julie again.
And Julie.
On the road again.
I'm here as assistant to Chair Janet Steiger-Carr. So I am again Julie Ludeman, Recreation Manager and Staff Liaison for the Tualatin Arts Advisory Committee.
Glasses are here. As my grandson would say, Grandma, where are your glasses? All right, Janet Steiger-Carr, Chair of the Tualatin Arts Advisory Committee. Who we are. For the record, I read, Tualatin Arts Advisory Committee's mission is to support, connect, and inspire the creation and integration of all art forms into our city's rich cultural heritage and vibrant future. We believe that involvement in the arts creates a more energetic, engaging, welcoming, and livable community. Further,
Good evening. Mayor and council. My name is Mary.
we believe that art itself facilitates strong communities through connection, culture, creativity, imagination, and inspiration, as witnessed by Wings of Freedom by Dow Blumberg. There on the page and on the screen. Our 2025-2026 members are myself, Janet Steiger-Carr, the chair, Brett Hamilton, vice chair, longtime member Mason Hall, Kathleen Silloway, our new member Brenna White, and our newest member Stephen Trow. Callie Savage sadly had to graduate. She's our youth member and we miss her desperately. And our council liaison, Bridget Brooks. What we do. We have monthly meetings. Yes, we do. We represent the Tualatin Arts to the council and to the public. We attend activities and events. We encourage opportunities for arts recognition, as witnessed today. And we stimulate private and public support for the arts. Our 2025-26 accomplishments. Thank you, Julie. You'll see how indispensable she is. I would make a mistake. 2025-26 accomplishments. They're not up yet, But there's going to be 3 brand-new traffic signal box wraps that are coming up. The art that's up there is Oregon Wilds by Hampton Rodriguez. He is a Portland artist who is originally from the Dominican Republic. The box will be at 90th and Country Club, across from the Country Club. And I love the fact that Hampton Rodriguez's 2025 exhibit was called Every Oregonian Deserves a Piece of Art. Yeah. The other boxes will be Brenna White's box, Boone's Ferry and IBAC across from the high school. And the final box will be at Martinazzi and Sagert. It will be a piece by Pacific Northwest artist Phil Jettelstad. And his is a part of the Tualatin Visual Chronicles from 2015, which is absolutely fabulous. His work is amazing. The other accomplishments were financial support to 2 arts agencies, Wilsonville Stage in Tualatin, and the CNA Irish Dancers, CNA, right? Arts advocacy for downtown revitalization. And next slide. Storm drain art installation. You can see the piece of art that's not in its curb appeal. And that is in partnership with the Tualatin River Keepers, and it was right in front of where the new park is going to be. I think it's absolutely wonderful. We did the Community Enhancement Award just today for Willowbrook Arts Camp. We hosted Tualatin Valley Creates Network Mingle, which was absolutely wonderful on the Lake of the Commons, and ended at Vets Plaza talking about my favorite subject, the art that's there. Yay. We also attended, 4 members did, the board and committee summit, which in my opinion was a grand success. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right, and our goals. 2026-27, we just had our meeting looking at this, to identify future arts programs and projects, to continue to support local arts programming through grants and awards, community enhancement, to support and facilitate arts installations within New Parks bond projects, as in the Vets Plaza, to begin arts policy development, to support arts inclusion in future planning projects, including but not limited to the revitalization of downtown revitalization. Excuse me, that's a double entendre. I'm ending with a conversation I had with an not-to-be-named state politician who told me that the times that we live in need more art. And I heartily agree. Thank you.
Any questions or comments for Jen? Councilor Brooks.
I just want to thank the Arts Committee for all the work. I feel it's such a privilege to be able to observe them and their deliberations and their really deep care for the community and for the availability of arts to everybody. It's something that is really important, especially in times like today, and especially to the chair for all of the work. The Cora just in itself is well beyond the work of a chair of a community committee, so we're in deep gratitude, and the work that this committee did for the Veterans Plaza was outstanding, and I wish I could figure out a way to even celebrate it more. So I appreciate it very much. And Julie, congratulations on the promotion. You deserve it. And wasn't it a promotion?
No, I just get another staff person, so that's exciting.
Well, congratulations on the staff person. I thought it was a different title for some reason. And I'm not good with the titles. And thanks for being such every single thing that you do, whether it's the third concert or the blender dash or the meeting late into the evening, you always bring such a great spirit of community and collaboration, and you were a wonderful host to the Tualatin Valley create. So I just really appreciate your work. Thank you both.
Thank you.
And all the members of the Arts Committee who are fabulous.
Council President Pratt.
Really quick, it's so obvious that this committee puts their heart into this, and it's so thoughtful, and everything, the box wraps, the art and the commons, it reflects our community, and I just want to let you know it's really appreciated.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thanks again, Janet, for all your work on this. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for
right.
having an arts committee.
All right. That brings us to item number 2, annual report for the 12th Historical Society, presented by Ross Baker, former president of the Historical Society. No, by his own choice.
They threw me out. I got a presentation, I swear I did. I gave it to Julie. If it's gone, she lost it. Take her staff away from her. So, really special year this year because the Heritage Center has been in its new place for 20 years now, and the building itself is 100 years old this year. And so for us, it's very important. There's a picture from 1926, the first congregation. I'll go ahead and move on. Lots of things going on. I went back and looked at the actual contract that we have with the city with regard to our obligations and what we should be doing. And in Section 5A, it stipulates that we should be focusing on historical, cultural, environmental enrichment, social gatherings. It's there, it's all listed within the agreement. And it just so happens that I decided to take a look at only this past fiscal year to see what we had done in those 5 areas. So let's take a look. Historical, we had all kinds of presentations, of course, our quarterly newsletter. We've got a beautiful new, thanks to the city for the new cabinets and so forth. We redid our library, we did our filing system so that it's accessible and friendly. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Of course, cultural, we even have now Other Desert Cities, I think, is right now playing at the Heritage Center, Wilsonville Players. But we have all kinds of shows there. Of course, we always have tributes to the tribes. I'll come back to the Grand Ron thing in a little bit. But we really focus on a lot of cultural things. Next slide, please. Environmental, we, of course, are proud of our native plantings that we have there. And of course, not only the historical plants that we have there, but also this past year, we put out a new series of cards and postcards celebrating those. And so there's typically something going on. Most recently, in the last few weeks, we just finished rebuilding and repairing native plant boxes that were there. So that took a little bit of a chunk out of our capital budget, but that's what it's there for. And of course, enrichment to the community is important. We got our first dog membership this year. I don't care, it's $25, whatever. And of course, we have our brick thing. We really made an effort this year to really celebrate and to salute to the military. We're going into our 5th year now of offering free membership to police, the fires, the teachers, and city employees, and that's been one area of growth for us. And we're proud to be able to do that as part of what we do for the committee. And of course, the Jack Broom Scholarship. Young lady was announced about a month ago who got the scholarship, which you may remember used to be the Tualatin Historical Society Scholarship, but we renamed it after Jack Broom when he passed because he would never allow us to do that while he was alive. But you got to honor that guy. Okay, the social gatherings. You know, we have a lot of rentals that we do, and it is our #1 source of income that we have. Anything from yoga classes to bridal showers to weddings to, of course, things that we sponsor ourselves, like our big Christmas, old-fashioned Christmas celebration. Ice Age, the Fossil Fest is going to be August 6th, I think. It's on our calendar on the webpage. But that's huge. That draws hundreds of people to our plaza out there. If you have an old fossil laying around, bring it down and we'll get it evaluated for you. It's hard to believe, but we have greeted almost 10,000 visitors this year. By the time we finish our fiscal year at the end of this month, I think we're going to fall a little bit short, but it'll be 9 and some change. So a lot of people have come to the to the Heritage Center, whether it's for their own private event or an event that we hold, okay? Our financials, a lot of little numbers there. I just want to point out to you that we did this 3 quarters through the year, and you'll notice that as far as revenue goes, we were at 78% 3 quarters through the year. Our expenses were at 75% 3 quarters through the year. We got $122,000 in the bank. It breaks my heart to see what's happening over in Washington County and Five Oaks and that kind of stuff. But as I think I've said here before, if the world just went south on us overnight, we could go for 4 years without another dime of revenue, keeping Rick on staff and that kind of stuff. So we feel financially secure. We watch our budget very closely, and I think the whole Historical Society Board works hard to make sure that every penny that we spend is going to something that fulfills our mission. Okay, next one's membership. This is sort of in order of where the most of the members are. We did have about a 7% increase. I've reported here the last couple of years sort of flat to down membership, but this year it has popped back up again. The thing that I think amazes me the most is if you want to be a senior member and get a free membership at the Historical Society, you have to be 90 years old. And that's when we start handing them out for free, except for city employees and fireplace. But I'm telling you, that number 29 has increased. Last year when I reported, it was like 24, and I thought for sure it'd go down again. But we have more members over 90 this year, and they keep on plugging along. And yeah, we have a pretty solid membership, and we're proud of them. They do great things for us. This is the last one. This is a little bit different than anything I've done before, because I want to show you what's coming up in the next fiscal year. Really quickly looking at this, we're going to have a Quilts of Valor thing that we're doing. We have, of course, the Sweet House VIP tour. If you haven't already signed up for that, you probably would have gotten a link to do that. Only 100 people are going to go through there over a 4-hour period. So it's a really big deal. And it's been more than 20 years since the Sweet Home has been open for any kind of touring at all. We have the Fossil Fest I already mentioned. We have the part 3 of our 100th birthday. We're going to be focusing on the move in August. First Wednesday in August, we're going to talk about the actual move of the building itself. Of course, we have our Heritage Evening. This year we have sort of a speakeasy 1920s theme to celebrate the 100th birthday. We're trying to do more about capturing history today. In this case, it's Brent Hamilton, who's also on the Arts Committee, because we want to try to capture this stuff before it gets away from us, and he's been an advocate for a lot of things. Anyway, you can look through there quicker than I can read it off, but we have, except for May, we have to figure out what to do in May. But we have a really full agenda for the year, lots of programs fulfilling our obligation to the community, to the city, and to our members. And I really appreciate Dustin and Julie and Tom and all the people at the city that interface with us regularly. It's just such a joy to work with all of you, all of them.
All right. Get one more slide up there.
Oh, that's just us. Yeah. And of course, we're still looking for a president, and those are pretty much the same people. Janet is in sort of a designate. We have an onboarding process that we developed a couple of years ago, but you know those names for the most part.
All right. Questions or comments for Ross?
Yep.
Just, this has been since that move there, you guys have fulfilled what the city asked, and it's a wonderful feature in our town. And
I think so too.
And
thank you.
Don's back there, but I'm pretty amazed you kept so close to your budget. That's pretty tough to do.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of senior people on the board that are, I want to say they're penny pinchers, but if you tried to take a penny out of their hand, you'd make copper wire because it would just pull out.
Other questions? Councilor Hillier.
Not a question, just a comment. Thank you for that the wagon ended up there. You didn't mention that, but I think that's happened in the last year, and so I know that
you've really put a lot of energy into that, and thank you very much.
Yeah, our pleasure.
Other questions, comments?
I love your presentation, so thank you very much for coming and presenting. I enjoyed the humor of it, the fun part, but also like, you know, it makes us proud. It makes me proud to be part of this community. So I really enjoy the presentation. I like how you have their in May surprise, which means that you don't know what you're gonna do. I thought that's hilarious. So I don't know. I just enjoy the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor
Any other
Reese.
comments? I just want to thank you, Ross. I know how much time you put into this over the years, being president of the Historical Society, running it day to day, sitting in your driveway, you know, cutting the bricks and stuff like that, etching the bricks. Ross lives down the street from me, so I know all the stuff he's doing with when the garage opens and you hear he's doing bricks. But you've been an outstanding volunteer on behalf of the Historical Society. Because you've been doing this for, what, 8+ years, President?
9.
Yep.
Well, I've been with them longer, but 9 years as president. So.
But very much appreciate, because it's a lot of time for Ross, and I very much appreciate you doing that.
It's fun. I appreciate.
And now you get all this extra time to spend with your grandkids.
Yes. I know. I got another one coming, the 4th one.
All right, terrific.
Yeah,
All right. Well, thanks for coming tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Our third special report tonight is the summer programs preview. Julie gets to come back up again, and Sarah. Welcome.
All right, well, here I am again. I am still Julie Ludeman, Recreation Manager, and I am here with Sarah Jessa Dawson.
I'm the Public Services Manager at the library.
Is the sun in your eyes, Julie?
I'm
Sarah?
fine. I'm
You
fine.
good?
Yep.
I'll just squint.
Well, Sarah just leaned.
Well, we're here again for our annual presentation on all the great things that are happening in the city of Tualatin through the Recreation Division and the library and all of our partner programs that happen. So here we are, and we're excited to tell you about them. So some of you might have heard of this little event called the Blender Dash. I know some of you were there in attendance. This is our annual kickoff to summer. It's the kids' fun run. It's color, mud, foam, obstacles, and zombies. We had about 1,000 kids participate, and we had all sorts of great vendors and activities and nonprofit booths. And so we're always happy to be able to have that happen in our community. It's a really fun, high energy way to get the summer started. So we're glad to have that happen, and we'll do it again next year. In fact, we may even, no promises, but there has been some talk about an adult version of the Blender Dash. So we'll see where that takes us.
So at the library, of course, we have started summer reading. I took a peek, and during this meeting, we crossed over to 1,500 people signed up. So if I keep talking, we might get to 16. No. We are bringing back a lot of the things that our communities really come to love. Our stories in the park, we've really loved that partnership we have with parks, so we can get around to all the sections of Tualatin and give people a chance to meet and greet us and hear our stories. We have weekly crafternoon programs for school-age kids and weekly teen events as well. We are bringing back our teen volunteer-led PJ Story Times coming on Thursdays. In fact, this week, Amy and Melissa will be training those teen volunteers. You see some of ours from years past. And we have our annual Pokemon party. We decided that just is an annual thing that's actually coming up next weekend.
Sometimes you find you do something once, and then it's so popular and successful that you now do it forever.
We are also known as a music center for the library. We have Ring Down coming July 12th. That features the Pulitzer, Grammy, Emmy-winning, and Tony-nominated Carolyn Shaw and her wife Danny, doing some really lovely, friendly pop music, actually, and our chamber music group that joins us every August as well.
All right, and then the next big event that will be coming to Tualatin Community Park is Viva Tualatin. That is Saturday, July 11th. That is our annual arts and culture fair focused on our Latino cultural heritage. And we've got all sorts of fantastic performers. We've got great food, wonderful vendor booths with all sorts of really great art. It's also a really good opportunity for local nonprofit organizations to connect with our community. And as you can see in the picture, there's also horses and horse dancing. And I know I've said it before, but I didn't know that horses could sit like dogs. But apparently, if you train them, they can. It's pretty exciting. We're very excited to see you all there. That is Saturday, July 11th from 2 until 8 p.m. at Tualatin Community Park. And summer camp. So tomorrow I will be starting staff training for summer camp. And we have 15 recreation leaders and 15 junior recreation leaders who will be working in Tualatin Community Park for the next 8 weeks. We've got 614 kids signed up, and they are kids in grades 1 through 7. And this is a program that started out, 10, 11, 12 years ago, and we had, I think, 6 kids a week. And so it's really been something that has grown and flourished, and I'm really excited to say that almost 90% of my staff have returned year over year. They love coming back, and I'm really, really glad to see that because it helps my staff training go a lot easier. So that will be starting, and Community Park will be a lot more lively place. It's pretty lively already, but it will be even more so in about a week. And I guess I'll just keep going here.
Yep.
So concerts. We also have concerts in the parks this summer. We have 4 Friday night concerts. 2 of them are in Community Park. That's the July 7th and August 7th concerts. On July 24th, we will take the show on the road to Equality Park. And we finish up the summer at the lake with our final concert there. We also do 2 lunchtime concerts on July 15th and August 12th. So from noon until 1, we encourage everyone to come out. We get some tables with umbrellas, and we just get to hang out, go get some food at one of our local restaurants, and enjoy a free concert. So hope to see some of you there as well. I will be there.
Okay, and of course,
apologies for the
text got a
weird
little
formatting.
Got a little wiggly, but we couldn't do what we do at the library without our volunteers, and we bring in our teen volunteers, in particular teens and tweens. We have 48 of them this year, and about half of them are returnees. They are helping out in the makerspace. They are helping out with, I have been corrected, it's Science Spectacular, but it is on the plaza. The story times in the park, the PJ story time, and summer reading in general. So we're really excited to have those teens back. They all apply to get in as volunteers, and Amy and Margaret spend a lot of time training them. They get a lot of support from the library staff, but we also just love having them around. And of course, we have volunteers at our big events for Blender Dash and for Viva Tualatin. There's also volunteers throughout the parks. There's Team Tualatin. It's a group of youth helping with our parks and our trails and restoration sites. It's a 7-week program for them. There's also Hug a Park or a Trail or a Tree. Those are for corporate and group projects and includes the Tualatin Greenway Trail Stewardship Program. I think this one's me. Yes. And a couple of programs that the Tualatin Police Department also put on for our local students. The Heroes Summer Camp. It's students entering middle school. They're 1-week sessions. There's 4 of them throughout the summer. And then, of course, they have a big role in National Night Out in Tuesday, that first Tuesday in August.
All right. So the Juanita Poll Center. Some of the summer program highlights. This Friday, I believe, is the AI Symposium, and they will also be getting a lunch with the JPC meal program. I believe there'll be 100 people coming to lunch on Friday between the regulars and the AI Symposium attendees. So it's going to be a very busy place. They also do a lot of fun trips for older adults. So the Kanita Hot Springs is one of the ones that's on the schedule for this summer. Another one that's been very popular is low impact cardio dance. There's lots of different fitness programs for all levels of ability and interest, and that's a really fun one to get people moving. And there'll be an urban walk. They do lots of hikes during the summer, and one that they'll be doing is the Tilcomb Crossing and Burnside Bridge Loop. So lots of opportunities to get out and explore our region, and also to come into the center and get great food, have some great drop-in programs, and really become part of that community. We just completed about $250,000 renovation of the center. It looks fantastic. It's all brand new inside. We've got new front doors. We've got completely renovated restrooms, new carpeting, new paint. It looks fantastic and has really been, this really is a centerpiece now, I think, of our community. We will be doing the official ribbon cutting in August, and we'll make sure to get that invite out to all of you for that. And then, of course, everyone is invited to join us for the meal program. Those are every Tuesday and Friday. And starting in January, it will be 3 days a week, thanks to a grant that you might have noticed on the consent agenda from Washington County to support meals for older adults. Sure, I'll go for it. All right, and finally, we have lots of partners that provide other recreation programs. We do a lot, we can't do it all. Every year we squeeze in a little bit more, but we also have some really great either nonprofit or for-profit partners in the community serving the same people in many different ways. And so we're really happy to have these long-standing relationships. You saw Sarah and Shanna from Willowbrook. They are right now in their setup for summer camp over at Browns Ferry Park. Tualatin Historical Society, of course, you just heard from Ross and all of the wonderful things that they do. We're very happy to have Safety Town back with Tualatin Together, and I know Councilor Hillier is very involved with that one. We also have our Tualatin Youth Sports Leagues. They're not just summer, they're ongoing throughout the year, but they provide many opportunities for kids. We have Skyhawk Sports Camp and Kiddo Kinetics. Those are two other partner programs that offer additional summer camp programming within our city and within our parks. So we're really happy to have all of this great community of service providers, and really glad that we have our fantastic library and all the opportunities that we have to serve our community and provide these options. So with that, I want to say thank you again for all of your support. I am just always so glad to be able to be here and talk about the great things that we do. And we have a great team. We work for a great city, and I'm really proud to be part of it.
All right. Questions or comments for Sarah and Julie? Council President Pratt.
On the committee for advisory appointments, we have a question where we ask people what they like most about Tualatin, and it's the community. And your programs and what you do are such a huge part of that, so thank you.
Thank you. That is the goal.
Councilor Reyes.
Just a quick question. Do you guys still need volunteers? And if you do, how do young teens that are out there that want to do something during the summer can volunteer?
Yes, there are lots of opportunities to volunteer in many different capacities, whether that's through some of the programs at the library or special events or doing, working in the parks. And all of that information is available on our city website, our brand new website, tualtinoregon.gov, I believe. And right there on that front homepage, there is a link for how to volunteer.
Right. We keep a monthly program called Tween Takeover active during the summer. But we do, because we have an interview process and a training at the beginning of the summer, we have the teens that we need for the library programs, but there's always, opportunities at big events like Viva as well.
Other questions or comments? just want to thank you. I mean, year after year, you guys come back, you come with lots of programming over the summer, and you keep a lot of things alive. You bring new stuff like Pokemon and stuff like that. Just appreciate the amount of effort that this takes year after year to keep, lots of opportunities for people to get together in the city, either a movie, no movies, concerts, or events at the library or summer camps. It's very much appreciated. And thanks again, because, again, a fantastic lineup for the summer.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so our final special report tonight is the IDEA Committee recommendation on adopting a native land and people acknowledgement statement. This will be led by Kelsey and Aaron. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Yeah, good? Okay. Hello, Mayor and City Councilors. Thank you for having us today. Happy Pride Month. My name is Kelsey Aschenbrenner, and I am on the IDEA Committee.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Aaron Stimson, and my friend Kelsey and I are from the IDEA Committee. Today we are here to speak about our field trip to Cicala Tribal Museum. As soon as we walked into the museum, we were in awe of the beauty of all of the native art. Cicala is the native name given to the area we know as Grand Ronde by the Yam.
Yes, thank you for joining me, Aaron. Our committee was tasked and asked to consider whether the city of Tualatin should adopt a written land acknowledgement, and our committee worked very hard in deciding what to do about this. So here's a few things that we did to come up with our decision. As Aaron mentioned, members of our committee as well as city staff visited the Chichalu Tribal Museum in Grand Ronde to learn more about the indigenous tribes of our area so that we could make a better informed decision on what we should recommend to you all. The Grand Ronde tribe includes people from over 30 bands and individual tribes which span from the Mount Shasta area to the Columbia River. That included the indigenous peoples of Tualatin. Do you want to keep going with your? Yeah, go ahead.
Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Aaron Stimson, and my friend Kelsey and I are from the IDEA Committee. Good evening, Mayor and Council members. My name is Aaron Stimson, and my friend Kelsey and I are from the IDEA Committee. Today we are here to speak about our field trip to Cicala Tribal Museum. As soon as we walked into the museum, we were in awe of the beauty of all of the native art. Cicala is the native name given to the area we know as Grand Ronde by the Yamil Kalapaya. The name reflects methods of traditional land management and their use of fire to ensure a healthy landscape. We learned a lot and encourage all of you to visit this tribal museum and culture center. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak tonight.
Awesome, thank you, Aaron. We have a few photos from our field trip. There's a lot of the traditional basket making. This picture here on the right was in what is representing a traditional longhouse, made out of cedar planks, which would have been in our area. It was a really beautiful and insightful visit. I'll share another photo. This is another beautiful piece of artwork that they have there that depicts what Native life was like. And then this is a little bit of not only art about the past, but also art looking forward into the future. And that was one thing that felt very apparent to us when we were there, was that the things that feel important to the Grand Ronde tribe are community, connection, vitality, legacy, and keeping the culture alive. After our visit to the Cultural Center and many discussions, our committee has agreed to present a recommendation on a land acknowledgement, and I'll share that here with you all. This may be surprising to you all, but we are recommending that the City of Tualatin not adopt a written Native land acknowledgement, but instead to commit to stewarding a relationship with the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde, as well as to find ways to continue to educate the people of Tualatin on the living history of Tualatin's Native peoples. And we have a few suggestions on ways that we can do that together. Some of our ideas are exhibiting displays of Indigenous artists' work, which has already been done and we'd like to continue to do. To have interactive discussions with Indigenous historians and scholars, display information about Tualatin's Indigenous land and peoples at the new Riverfront Park, all things that are kind of being talked about already, and then continuing to prioritize equity, inclusion, and access for all Indigenous peoples living in Tualatin today. So part of that is we wanted to recommend active participation and communication of our shared history and future. A written land acknowledgement felt performative and it felt like it would lack connection. And instead, we'd like to take a more active role. And our committee really would like to do that in partnership, not only with the City Council, but with the Arts Advisory Committee and the Parks Advisory Committee, and with the people of Tualatin, our citizens. So we'd also, we'll be bringing up ways to celebrate Indigenous Peoples Month as well. That'll be later in the year. But as always, we want to steward those initiatives that we mentioned here first, and continue to focus on ways to promote access, equality, diversity, and inclusion for all who have and will inhabit our city. Now, if you have any questions or comments.
Before we do that, I want to hand over to Councilor Sacco. She
Oh,
has
yes.
her hands up.
Thank you, Councilor Sacco.
Thank you. So I just want to take a moment to express my sincere gratitude to the IDEA Committee for the thoughtful care, dedication, and time that they've invested in evaluating the land acknowledgement. As a non-voting member of the committee, I've sat by and watched them come to this decision. That was not an easy one. And I know that the process required them to navigate complex perspectives, differing viewpoints, and some deeply held beliefs. But throughout this journey, they demonstrated a remarkable commitment to listening and learning and engaging in meaningful dialogue. And they heard a wide range of opinions, and they took this responsibility very seriously, ensuring that every voice was considered with respect and thoughtfulness. And I think that level of care really reflects the integrity and purpose of this committee. So I just wanted to thank you, the IDEA Committee, for your leadership, your courage, and your commitment to fostering an inclusive environment where these important conversations can take place thoughtfully and respectfully. And the work that you have done here has not gone unnoticed. And I'm just super grateful for the care and consideration that you brought to this process. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments for the IDEA Committee? Councilor Brooks.
I echo very much what Councilor Sacco said. And I do want to just say from my own perspective that this was a big first charge for the council to hand off to this committee, and we recognize that as well. And the depth and consideration and care that you took with such a sensitive and important topic for so many people is outstanding. And we just have a lot of gratitude for the work. And I personally look forward to my part of providing leadership and help in those areas so that we can lift the voices and the culture and be good partners and stewards with the rest of our great community here. So thank you very much. I really, really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. I do want to say that it's not to say that land acknowledgements aren't important and very valuable. Our committee felt very passionate about going a bit deeper than just a written land acknowledgement.
Other questions or comments? I just want to echo, Councilor Reyes, go ahead.
No, I'm just also want to echo it and ditto on what the councilors have mentioned, and that it was respectfully done, and that you did the research that it wasn't just on a fast thing. It was, I really appreciate that, because a lot of people don't do that. They just kind of, just do what they need to do. But I'm glad that you went ahead and did the research, talked to the tribal members. That's so important, because getting their feedback really honors them as well. So thank you very much for doing that.
Anyone else? We're just going to concur with Councilor Reyes and Councilor Brooks. Appreciate your work on this. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. All right. That brings us to public hearings. Item number 1 is consideration of resolution number 5974-26, declaring the city's election to receive state revenue sharing funds during fiscal year 2026-2027. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. My name is Matt Warner. I'm the Assistant Finance Director here at the city, and I'm here tonight to discuss state shared revenues. The city receives a number of different taxes from the state, including cigarette taxes, marijuana tax, gas tax, and liquor taxes. The liquor tax is broken up into 2 separate components, and the public hearing this evening covers one of those components. We're required under Oregon Revised Statutes number 221.770 to hold 2 separate public hearings. The first public hearing was held at the Budget Committee on May 27th, 2026, on the possible uses of the funds. And the second public hearing is this evening on the proposed uses of those funds. The city is estimated to receive approximately $360,000 in shared revenues in fiscal year 26-27. These funds have been programmed into the general fund budget and are unrestricted, meaning they will be used to fund general city operations. Cigarette taxes, marijuana taxes, gas taxes, and the remaining portion of the liquor taxes are not covered by this public hearing. At the end of the hearing this evening, we ask that you please pass the resolution in order for the city to receive these funds. Thank you.
Any questions for Matt?
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
We're going to take those, gas taxes, but we still get them. Anyway, I'd like to move that we adopt resolution.
Mayor, I think technically this is a public hearing. You should
sorry,
recommend you open a public hearing.
So we've heard the presentation from staff. Now open to the floor to the public. Those folks who would like to speak in favor of resolution number 5974-26. Anyone wishing to comment in Zoom or in the room? All right. I'll then flip it over to those members of the public who'd like to comment against resolution number 5974-26. No one in the room? Anyone in Zoom? All right. And then finally, folks who just like to comment in general about resolution number 5974-26. All right. Hearing no public comment, we'll then move to deliberations and vote. Any deliberations? Motions?
Okay, I motion that we adopt resolution number 5974-26, declaring the city's election to receive state revenue sharing funds during fiscal year 2026-2027.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 5974-26. Any discussion on those motions? It's a roll call vote, correct? Okay. Counselor Sacco.
Aye.
Counselor Hillier.
Aye.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez.
Aye.
Counselor Brooks.
Aye.
Council President Pratt.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It is unanimous. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Next up is a public hearing on consideration of resolution number 5965-26, adopting the City of Tualatin budget for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026, making appropriations, levying ad valorem taxes, and categorizing the levies. Welcome, Don.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Don Hudson. I'm the Assistant City Manager and Finance Director here with the city. And in front of you this evening, you have Resolution 5965-26 to adopt the City of Tualatin budget for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026, making appropriations, levying ad valorem taxes, and categorizing the levies. The Oregon statutes require the council to adopt a budget prior to July 1st, 2026 for us to continue operations. The proposed budget was presented to the Budget Committee in May, and they approved the budget on May 27th and forwarded it to you for this evening for your consideration of adoption. In addition to budget approval by the committee, the council is allowed to change the budget by up to 10% of it for no more than 10% of the total budget in each fund. Staff is proposing two changes this evening to a total of $80,000 in two different funds. First is in the general fund for the police department. Some building improvements they anticipated would be completed before June 30th will not be completed. So staff is asking for $30,000 to be carried over into the upcoming budget. The second is in the Parks Utility Fee Fund. This is for some ADA and other improvements to the Parks and Recreation office building. Again, this was anticipated to be completed prior to July 1st, and this will not be done, so we're asking for those funds to be carried over in the amount of $50,000. These are both offset by increases to the beginning fund balance in both those funds. With these amendments that we're proposing this evening, the total city budget is $177,467,610, which includes personnel and materials and services, as well as over $35.5 million of one-time capital outlay projects. In addition to the resolution imposes the city's permanent tax rate of $2.2665 per thousand of assessed value for operations, and $4,431,474 for bonded debt service. Before I answer any questions, I want to turn it over to our City Attorney, Kevin McConnell, to discuss some changes in state law that occurred after we adopted the budget last year.
Thank you, Don, Mayor, and Council. I apologize. I was on vacation last week, so this warranted a little bit more notice than you're getting tonight. But I'm recommending that each of you, before discussing, deliberating, or voting on this resolution, first declare a conflict of interest. And we're going to put the actual statement up on the screen here, so each of you can do that. And I'll tell you why I'm going to recommend that each of you do that. And it doesn't matter whether you're voting yes or no on this resolution. If you do so, you'd be in accordance or compliance with Senate Bill 983, which is codified at ORS 244-120. And that specifically states that a member of council can vote on a budget that contains compensation or benefits for themselves or a relative if they first announce the conflict. And so that's why I'm asking you to do that or recommending that you do that. And there's a logical question that follows, well, what about all the other years why we haven't been declaring conflicts of interest? And Senate Bill 983 was in response by the state legislature to a law that was changed back in 2023 that allowed school board members to receive compensation from school districts. And when that happened, this is a lot like the food and beverage issue that came up last year. In response to that, there were some questions that were provided to the Oregon Government Ethics Commission about, well, isn't there an possible ethics issue if we were to vote on a budget that included or allowed for stipends that allowed for compensation or benefits to us or our family members? And as you can imagine, the Oregon Government Ethics Commission did find that there potentially could be an issue if a case was brought to them. And they forwarded some complex procedures on how a school board could remedy that. And again, that raised another question about, well, what about all these city councils that have, for many decades, there's an inherent conflict because I imagine that most if not all, budget documents in their city council budget document contain a provision or line items for specific allocation of funds for compensation or benefits to city councilors. And again, there hasn't been a case brought, but logically it follows that it could be seen as an actual conflict of interest and put your vote in jeopardy because, as you probably know, if you have an actual conflict of interest, generally under Oregon law, you have to recuse yourself. What Senate Bill 983, which is codified at 244-120, allows is that you declare the actual conflict of interest, and state law specifically allows you to vote lawfully on the budget document. So that's why I'm asking you to do this, and I recommend that each of you do so before engaging in any discussions on this resolution. And I'll stop there.
All right. So with that, I'll go ahead and so you want it done now, correct? Okay, so let's start with Councilor Sacco.
And I just read this, right? That's all I have.
That's correct, Councilor Sacco.
In accordance with ORS 244.120.
I think you have to read the whole thing.
Yeah, Councilor Sacco, yeah.
Oh, okay. The Tualatin budget for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026 includes compensation for members of the council and/or family members, including health insurance contribution, council technology stipend, payroll taxes where applicable, monthly utility bill discount. So in accordance with ORS 244.120 2BC, I acknowledge this actual conflict of interest and plan on participating in discussions and voting on resolution number 596526.
All right, I'm going to skip over to Councilor Reyes because Councilor Reyes had a question.
Can you may I ask a question about one of those items in the bullet point? Payroll taxes were applicable. What does that mean?
So I can answer that. So when we issue a technology stipend, there are payroll taxes because it is a taxable fringe benefit, as well as any stipends for the opt-out on insurance benefits.
Okay, thank you. I want to make sure that was clear. Thank you.
So go ahead, you can go ahead and read.
Should I read too? Yep. The Tualatin, from the top as well. The Tualatin budget for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026 includes compensation for members of council and/or family members, including health insurance contribution, council technology stipend, payroll taxes where applicable, monthly utility bill discount. In accordance with ORS 244.120 2BC, I acknowledge this actual conflict of interest and plan on participating in discussions and voting on resolution number 5965-26.
Okay. Councilor Hillier.
The Tualatin budget for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026 includes compensation for members of council and/or family members, including health insurance contribution, council technology stipend, payroll taxes where applicable, monthly utility bill discount. In accordance with ORS 244.120 2BC, I, Cynthia Hillier, acknowledge this actual conflict of interest and plan on participating in discussions and voting on resolution number 5965-26.
All right. Councilor Gonzalez.
The Tualatin budget for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026 includes compensation for members of the council and/or family members, including health insurance contribution, council technology stipend, payroll taxes where applicable, monthly utility bill discounts. In accordance with ORS 244.1202BC, I, Octavio Gonzalez, acknowledge this actual conflict of interest and plan to participating in discussion and voting on resolution number 5965-26.
All right, Councilor Brooks.
The Tualatin budget for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026 includes compensation for members of council and/or family members, including health insurance contribution, council technology stipend, payroll taxes where applicable, monthly utility bill discount. In accordance with ORS 244.122BC, I acknowledge this actual conflict of interest and plan on participating in discussions and voting on resolution number 5965-26.
Council President Pratt.
The Tualatin budget for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026 includes compensation for members of council and/or family members, including health insurance contribution, council technology stipend, payroll taxes where applicable, monthly utility bill discount. In accordance with ORS 244.122BC, I acknowledge this actual conflict of interest and plan on participating in discussions and voting on resolution number 5965-26.
All right, my turn. The Tualatin budget for fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026 includes compensation for members of council and/or family members, including health insurance contribution, council technology stipend, payroll taxes where applicable, monthly utility billing discount. In accordance with ORS 244.122BC, I acknowledge this actual conflict of interest and plan on participating in discussions and voting on resolution number 5965-26. Don, back to you.
At that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and open to the floor to the public. All those folks who are in favor or would like to testify in favor of resolution number 5965-26, this is your opportunity to do so. Do we have any in the room or in Zoom? Okay, seeing none. Residents who are in opposition to resolution number 5965-26, this is your opportunity to speak. In the room or in Zoom. Not seeing any head nodding, so I don't think there's anybody there. And finally, someone who would like to give a general comment regarding resolution number 5965-26. In Zoom or in the room. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close public comments on this resolution 5965-26. And now return it back to City Council for deliberation, questions, and a vote. Council President Brooks. I'm sorry, Councilor Brooks.
Thank you, Mayor. It's interesting that you brought this up tonight because as I was thinking through the budget, and we don't discuss the council much, like we'll have a presentation from every department, but we really don't go over the council at the budget meetings. And I was kind of trying to figure out, as I've spent 8 years on this council, why things aren't going as far as they used to. And I think that there's some work that this council could do in the future for the next, in preparation for the next budget, to keep up with the costs of technology and whatever benefits the $20 off the water bill were designed to do in whatever year that was, and look at, instead of having numbers in those budget, what would it take to not change the spirit of our compensation package? I'm not asking for a change, but I am asking for a way to have our compensation package stay current. So by design, for instance, if instead of $750 for technology, go to the original date and look at a 3% increase for inflation, which is pretty typical. The only place I could see that we could actually keep up with inflation was on the line item of travel. And so after discussing this with the city manager on our call, I just want to bring up a proposal to amend the motion to include I think it was $7,500 increase to the travel budget. In the past year, the year before this one, I think that the number went down 5,000, and I know that the conferences are more expensive. I don't know what the future council will look like after the election and how much education people are going to want to get. But I don't want people to feel hampered by a line that has not been keeping up with the rate of inflation or cost of conferences, et cetera. So those are my thoughts on that, and I guess I need 3 votes or something like. I don't know how this goes, but that's my proposal.
So I'd say, let's break those into 2 things. There's the
Well, the future discussion.
Yeah, there's the council travel / education budget, and then you're talking about the
A future.
stipend and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
to put on
Right.
a work agenda and work with our attorney and Don to help us formulate something that is not changing the nature of what we've been doing, but just keeping up with the costs and the technology.
So I would assume that we could address the increase, was it 10,000 for?
Or 10, it could be 10,000.
Yes,
Yeah.
basically the addition, adding extra dollars to the line item for council, travel, education, stuff like that. And then in terms of the stipend and stuff, that would probably be a future work session agenda item, right? Council President Pratt.
Yeah, on the future work session, I think it'd be nice, like how you meet with the departments, to just meet with council, like the same ideas you do with them, and then explain where those numbers come from. And then that opens up, I think, discussion about people and how much they're planning to participate in travel. And it would be educational for all of us, too.
Council Reyes.
I agree that we need to, I don't think I'm ready to make a decision on anything like this right now, but I do feel that we need to have some discussions about just like what do we think we can also, we will be able, as a counselor, what do we see increase based on inflation, like $20 for your water bill, maybe it can go up, a little bit more for that. And I've been here almost 8 years, and it's been the same since I started. Technology, $700 every 4 years. Sometimes maybe that can change a little bit. So those things I'm open to talk about because of the way technology is now, the way, $20 in your water bill may not be, maybe that can change a little bit and add some money there. But like I said, I'm not ready to make a decision on even the travel or anything right now until I have a conversation where I can have a dialogue with finances and us, like in an open, transparent way.
So the request would be then to, I'm just wrapping things, that rather than change the budget tonight, that we have one conversation in a future work session that includes both the question of increasing council travel / education and addressing the stipends. And so that would not impact tonight's discussion on the budget. We can always amend that line item later, I assume. Okay. Councilor Hilliard.
That was the spirit in which I was thinking, because I also would like to know where the money's going to come from. So I think it does need to be a more robust conversation than I'm prepared for this evening.
So do we have the votes to put these 2 items on a future agenda on a work session? Okay. More discussions, deliberations.
I'll make a motion to, what do we do? To, there wasn't any discussion, I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's Gonzalez.
It's okay. Oh, my mic's on.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So in the spirit of Council Brooks, in looking for a update for the council, I know that there's been conversation about council pay. And though it doesn't have to be decided this time around, you know, we've seen smaller cities with less population getting paid, and we've seen larger cities that council gets paid. I'm not necessarily, I'm more so just looking for what does that look like in the future for the future council? If we've reached a threshold where it may merit some pay for the council, I don't know. But I think it's worth at least putting that to bed and looking into it. You know, what are the criterias, you know, and then seeing what that looks like. With that said, I am concerned that we do have rising cost, and we continue to raise our constituents' cost to live in Tualatin. I would like to see in the future a way to cut services, not necessarily services, that's not the right word, but to figure out a way to be more efficient with our city staff, from parks to maintenance. Have we done that work? You know, we continue to increase and increase and increase, but I have yet to see anything that talks about, you know, how to conserve. You know, when we talk about the climate action plan, it isn't just the environment. You know, it's conservation of labor and resources and time, and that ultimately costs everybody money and costs all of us. So I know that this budget's already been cooked and it's done, but I do hope that as we move into next year's budget that we look at ways to be more efficient with what we have. So that's all I got to say. Thank you.
So would you like to do an ask for a future work session topic on council compensation?
I would, yes.
Do I have the votes for that? I'm in favor of it. Since I'm going out, when it's not going to impact me. It is broken. If we're talking, just put an agenda item in a work session to discuss it.
I support that.
Okay. So we've got 4. Okay. Councilor Sacco, you okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm up to discuss it. I don't know how I feel about it right now, but open for the discussion.
Okay. All right.
If I could just respond to the last thing you were talking about there, Councilor Gonzalez. We talked the last budget or so about the gaps and needs analysis. And what we've done to this point is a service inventory. So all departments are looking at their services they're providing. And the next step on that will be looking at to what levels and kind of adjusting accordingly. So we are doing that deeper dive look. And so I anticipate that as we get into the next budget cycle, we'll be back in front of you with some more information on that.
One small example, okay, and I'll close with this, okay, and only because it's in my professional career. And the park, for example, here in Tualatin Park, Aflati Park, you know, I noticed that it's a pretty large territory to mow. Okay, and I don't know if it's a contractor or subcontractor we're using, but I noticed that the person mowing the lawn was mowing it with the smallest lawnmower, okay? When you can easily have done a bigger mower, which we have, and whip through that whole place in minutes versus an hour. That's just one small, and I wonder how many times like that it repeats itself in our departments. You know, who is looking out for that efficiency? I know private sector does it all the time. So that's just one example. Thank you.
Other deliberations, motions?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution number 5965-26 for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026. Making appropriations, levying ad valorem taxes, and categorizing the levies.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 596526, adopting the City of Tualatin budget for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026, making appropriations, levying ad valorem taxes, and categorizing levies. Any discussions on these motions? Counselor Sacco,
Aye.
Counselor Hillier,
Aye.
Counselor Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez,
No.
Counselor Brooks,
Aye.
Council President Pratt.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. It passes 6-1. The resolution is adopted. All right, moving on to general business. Item number 1, consideration of ordinance number 1456-26, establishing a core area parking district, CAPD, tax rate for fiscal year 2026-27. Welcome back, Don.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. Still Don Hudson, Assistant City Manager and Finance Director. In front of you this evening is an ordinance establishing the core area parking district rate for the upcoming fiscal year. This was passed through the Core Area Parking District Board. It is their responsibility to look over the financial position of the district and recommend to the council a tax rate for the upcoming year. After reviewing the 5-year picture, they are recommending a 3% increase to the tax rate, which will go into effect next year. At that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Don? Any motions?
I motion, do we have to do the reading because it's an ordinance or just adopt it? Oh, I motion for reading by title only of ordinance number. What? Oh, first reading by title only of ordinance number 1456-26, establishing a core area parking district tax rate for fiscal year 2026-2027.
Second.
I have a motion and second for first reading by title only of ordinance number 1456-26, establishing a core area parking district tax rate for fiscal year 2026-2027. Any discussion on the motions? All right, Counselor Sacco,
Aye.
Counselor Hillier,
Aye.
Counselor Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Counselor Brooks,
Aye.
Council President Pratt.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Ordinance number 1456-26, an ordinance adopting the core area parking district tax rate and credit for fiscal year 2026-27.
Yep.
I motion that we have a second reading by title only of ordinance number 1456-26, establishing a core area parking district tax rate for fiscal year 2026-2027.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for second reading of ordinance number 1456-26, establishing a core area parking district tax rate for fiscal year 2026-2027. Any discussions on those motions? Counselor Sacco,
Aye.
Counselor Hillier,
Aye.
Counselor Reyes,
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez,
Yes.
Counselor Brooks,
Aye.
Council President Pratt.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It's unanimous. Ordinance 1456-26 is adopted.
No, that was second.
Second, oh, yeah, now we got to do the, sorry, jumping ahead. All right,
Vacation.
last one. Let's go for it.
So much, right?
Let's go for it. No, because I'm looking at the next item going, oh, man. Yep.
Ordinance number 1456-26, an ordinance adopting the core area parking district tax rate and credit for fiscal year 2026-2027.
Go for it.
I motion that we adopt ordinance number 1456-26, establishing a core area parking district tax rate for fiscal year 26-27.
Second.
Right. The chair gets his act together and says, now we're going to go ahead and ordinance 1456-26, establishing a core area parking district tax rate for fiscal year 2026 for adoption. Counselor Sacco,
Aye.
Counselor Hillier,
Aye.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Counselor Brooks,
Aye.
Council President Pratt.
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. It's adopted again. So ordinance 1456-26 is adopted. All right. Item number 2, resolution 597126 and 5972-26, authorizing the city manager to execute 2 IGAs with Washington County for cooperative library services. Charlotte.
Thank you, Mayor. So since November of 2025, Washington County Cooperative Library Services and partners have participated in a coordinated process to revise the 2 intergovernmental agreements between partner organizations in the county. You reviewed both draft agreements and provided feedback at your April 27 meeting. All of Tualatin's comments and feedback from the council and staff were conveyed back to the county, and a revised set of documents were presented for review and discussion at your May 26th meeting. In summary, the two agreements before the City Council tonight are, number one, the Cooperative Governance Agreement. This agreement stipulates how WCCLS will govern itself, including meetings, elections, members, and roles and responsibilities of each member, WCCLS staff, and the County Board of Commissioners. This agreement is perpetual unless a member ceases to be a party to WCCLS or if 3/4 of all members vote to terminate WCCLS. With no substantive updates since 2006, this revised agreement adds much-needed definition, clarity, and transparency to the roles and responsibilities of the parties involved in leading the work of the cooperative. In addition, the agreement outlines a collective decision-making process for issues that affect multiple partners and should be addressed as a group. Your feedback about wanting elected official involvement was noted and will be discussed in the coming cycle. Number two, the Cooperative Operating Agreement. This agreement governs funding allocations, base service levels, service boundaries, information technology network services, insurance, and indemnification. This agreement is renewed and revised every 5 years, commensurate with the county library operating levy. The term of this agreement is July 1, 2026 to June 30, 2031. The Board of County Commissioners unanimously approved the draft agreements on May 26th, and they are now at the member libraries for consideration, and that is before you tonight. The financial implications are that Tualatin's allocation from WCCLS is a 5% increase from last year's budget, FY 25-26. That allocation is just over $2 million. The Tualatin Public Library's total proposed FY 26-27 budget that you just adopted is $2.9 million, making the WCCLS allocation 67% of the library's total budget for 26-27. If the cooperative agreements are not approved, Tualatin would cease to be a member of WCCLS effective July 1, 2026. An analysis has not been conducted of the financial implications of not being a member of WCCLS. However, beyond the financial implications, Tualatin would lose a number of things, including access to the WCCLS catalog, access to the 1.5 million items in other WCCLS library via courier, and access to WCCLS's Libby collection, Canopy, and other online resources. It is staff's recommendation that the council approve the two resolutions authorizing the city manager to sign both agreements.
With that, council discussion. Council President Pratt.
Here we go. Well, I feel like we're in a position where we don't have a choice here. I'm really unhappy that this couldn't have been in 1 year, but it's not. I find it fascinating that we're doing an MOU after the fact. I have no issues with the government's agreement. I think it's great. But the operating agreement, I have concerns about implementation, what's going on. But at this point, I don't think we have a choice.
Other comments? Councilor Brooks.
Thank you, Councilor Pratt. I agree, and I think that this process also has been really challenging for our city personally, that we've gotten, that we've lost good people and trust in our community, and it's really disappointing to me how this has all happened. And I think that there's two things that particularly are troubling to me. One is the lack of public engagement in the process, and the way that the timelines have been managed, which feels, because we are in an outsized position for power dynamics, it's not a great way to partner with a smaller entity. And we as a city are noting this and noting the spirit in which this negotiation has been carried out. So I feel like we're in a bad position and our community is in a bad position. And we've lost a tough advocate for our city, which is not the kind of people that I want to be losing in our staff. And that's all I'm going to say right now. Thank you.
I forgot to add, Sherilyn, that you and Jerry Ann did a lot of work and advocated for us, and thank you.
Councilor Reyes.
Yeah, I also want to thank Sherilyn and your team for speaking up and being there on our behalf and the community's behalf. I do strongly, like the fellow councilors say, we practically have no choice, but I strongly suggest and highly hope and recommend that they consider a council member in one of these meetings as part of the committee in the future. I know that they're going to talk about it, but I really, really want to push hard on that because there's a different conversation when you have a fellow council member talk to another fellow council member, and I think that that hopefully will be a voice that's going to be heard in the future. Thank you.
Councilor Sacco.
Thank you. I just want to share similar sentiments. And while I'll be voting in favor, I do want to acknowledge that I have concerns about the process that brought us to this point. And throughout the process, there were times where it didn't feel as though all perspectives were fully heard and considered. I also believe there was insufficient time and dialogue for us stakeholders to thoroughly understand all the implications of the decision as things were changing before being asked to move forward. And just given the significance of this matter and the importance that the library has to the city of Tualatin, I would have hoped for a more deliberate and collaborative approach that would have strengthened both understanding and trust. And with that, I echo Councilor Brooks's comments about public outreach. But that said, I do recognize the importance of securing the funding and the catalog needed to support our work for the community. But I don't want my support to be interpreted as an endorsement of the process itself. Rather, I want it to be a reflection of my belief that the funding is necessary for moving forward with our community's best interest at heart. And I sincerely hope that the future decisions of this magnitude are approached with greater transparency and more meaningful engagement and adequate time for us to feel heard and our community to feel heard before making these types of decisions.
Other comments or deliberations? Councilor Gonzalez.
So I just want to second every word you said, Councilor Sacco. Thank you very much. She expressed herself clearly, and I firmly believe that, well, that's all I got to say. Thank you, Kristen, for saying it so well.
All right.
I'd like to also go on record and concur with my fellow councilors on this frustration around the process. I do hope that Washington County and the commission can hear that loud and clear, that we do not feel like they were bargaining or negotiating in good faith. We also raise up the staff here in Tualatin, Sherilyn with your leadership, and Kevin, certainly the hours poured over contracts and recommendations. And we know this is in the best interest of our community, and we appreciate all the extra time. Best interest to sign what we have and move forward and continue to advocate for the changes. And so we know that you're at that table and you're well respected at that table, and we thank you for negotiating in the way that you have, because I'm sure that it would not have probably even moved this far. And who knows, but we do appreciate the work, and so thank you.
I just want to say one more thing. I think that for the community, that this council, at least for me, if there's things that people want to talk about or write to us, we're very interested in knowing this, especially as we move forward in like formalizing even what this contract fully is, as we're asked to vote on it without it being really completely finished, it feels like to me. And also, I'm still having trouble with utilizing power dynamics like this and then coupling that with putting city managers in various cities in situations that could be politically uncomfortable for decision-making around the library, and how that is between that and other items that the county's doing. So I just find it very troubling. I appreciate that they're talking about bringing a counselor in or however that looks, but I also feel that the council is the body that our city manager reports to, not the county, and so it's very unusual, and to me it's politically uncomfortable, to say the least. So I'm concerned about how this is moving forward, even though I want our community to have access to the resources that they deserve and that they pay their taxes for, and that we, in good faith, try to support the library bond with.
Okay. Save in mind, going to take chair privilege.
I move that we adopt resolution number 5971-26 and 5972-26, authorizing the city manager to execute 2 intergovernmental agreements with Washington County for cooperative library services.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 5971-26 and 5972-26. Any discussions on those motions? All right, let's start with Councilor Sacco.
Aye.
Councilor Hillier.
Aye.
Councilor Reyes.
Yes.
Councilor Gonzalez.
Yes.
Councilor Brooks.
Aye.
Council President Pratt.
Aye.
I am going to take a moment of chair privilege, and I'm going to do a symbolic vote of no. I do not appreciate the process used by Washington County. It just further deteriorated the trust level between cities and the county. Their poor project planning is not our issue. They could have pulled their heads out of their butt and got better project planning, and this wouldn't have been rushed in the last minute. Lack of input from electeds. We were only looped into this a few times, especially, it was put on the shoulders of the city manager to do versus commissioners reaching out. When they wanted our support for other things, they were here and glad to meet with us when they were looking for us to support them with the public safety levy and the actual funding of this levy. But they disappeared when we got into these kind of discussions. Very dismayed with their lack of commitment regarding the general fund transfer, even to agree to a floor. So year 1 is fully funded. Year 2, who knows? They would not commit to make any kind of floor or base level assumption that we can do in year 2. As Councilor Brooks mentioned, there's still questions on the centralized collections, and that's a TBD thing. So we're going to approve this funding mechanism, and we might have lots of disagreements on how centralized collections will be done. I'm calling out specifically the Washington County Commissioners for being tone deaf to the mayor's request for a 1-year agreement. Only 2 of the commissioners would agree to that. And that tells you Commissioners Treese and Commissioner Snyder were in support. The rest of the commissioners lacked the commitment, I will say, to the mayors of Washington County, listening to their input, asking for a change on the agreement length. This is supposed to be a cooperative. This process was not cooperative in any way. And finally, I look forward to hearing the discussion on the change to the executive committee, to having electeds on the executive committee, and having the city managers take up more of a role of a technical committee similar to JPAC and the coordinating committees. So I vote no. So with that, the resolution does pass 6-1. So resolution number 5971-26 and 5972-26 are adopted by the Tualatin City Council. Moving on to the next item is items removed from the consent agenda. We had one item, item number 5. Let me scroll back up to consent agenda. And that is consideration of resolution number 5964-26, amending water, sewer, stormwater, road, and parks utility fee rates inside of the city of Tualatin and rescinding resolution 5887-25. Councilor Gonzalez asked to have this removed from consent and heard separately tonight.
I think for me, it was just more so to pull it out of a consent voting block, and because I would like to vote no for it, so.
Okay. Yeah.
When I read this, and we can ask Dawn, but our packet said, I think this was on consent agenda because the water rates are determined by the water master plan, so that would mean redoing the water master plan. The road utility rates were established in 2017, and they follow the Washington County Transportation Tax Development increases, so we're following that. The sewer and stormwater is split. Clean Water Services regional base is what we follow, and we would be paying that. Our taxpayers would be paying, the city has to pay it somehow. And then the other side of that is the city sewer master plan, so that would have to be redone. And then the parks fee remained the same. So that's my understanding of why it was on consent agenda. Is that true?
But, so historically, the rates have been on consent agenda. They've followed, as we mentioned, the recommendation of the rate increases are based upon the master plans on the water and sewer side and the stormwater. The road utility fee, as you mentioned, that was indexed by the council a few years back. And so there is an index that is built into the ordinance for that. We also include the Clean Water Services rates in this as well. We put this in there so that all our rates are in one place. Those are actually just a pass-through. Those were adopted by the Clean Water Services Board last week. And then you're right, the parks utility fee we have not raised since its inception.
Yeah, Councilor Brooks.
So with these rates, like if we were gonna go back and redo all of that work, how much time would that and resources would that take?
So you talk about the master plans?
Yeah.
It's a significant process. We hire a consultant, typically an engineering firm, to look at the capital projects, and then we hire another firm, FCS Group, that we've used for other things for the financing strategy, the rate study. So they look at, it's a component, it's a multi-month process to do so.
Okay.
We are having the water master plan just looked at again because I think he's looked about the potential for tiered rates and some other things that may come up. So we're asking him to look at that, but it's not that full-blown process. It's a multi-month, upwards of a year plus to go through that full process.
Okay. And I just want to respect the work that has been done for us to come up with these numbers and all the work that past councils, including our own, take to go through all these numbers and deliberations and all the work that you take. So I just want to say that on the record. Thank you.
I move to adopt resolution number 5964-26, amending water, sewer, stormwater, road, and parks utility fee rates inside the city of Tualatin and rescinding resolution 5887-25.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 5964-26, amending water, sewer, stormwater, road, and parks utility fee rates inside the city of Tualatin and rescinding resolution 5887-25. Any discussion on those motions? Seeing none, Councilor Sacco.
Aye.
Councilor Hillier.
Aye.
Councilor Reyes.
I'm going to abstain on this vote because I have more questions than I have answers. So I'm going to abstain on this vote.
Councilor Gonzalez.
It's going to be a no for me.
Right. Councilor Brooks.
Aye.
Council President Pratt.
Aye.
I vote aye, so I've got, 5 yes, 1 abstention, and 1 no. So the resolution is adopted/passed. All right, that brings us to council communications. In work session, we didn't get to complete our council roundtable, so I'll go ahead and switch over to Councilor Sacco.
Thank you. I'm just pulling up my notes. We had the IDEA committee meeting last week, and I was going to tell you that they'll be coming before you tonight to discuss the land acknowledgement, and then we also, we also received a climate action plan update, which was similar to the one that we heard tonight as well. And so it's just to mention that it's very important when we look at climate action to make sure that we're looking at it through a lens of access and inclusion as well. So it's really great to hear the IDEA Committee's comments on the action plan and really looking at it through that lens and providing that feedback. They did a wonderful job. Thank you.
All right, Councilor Hilliard.
Thank you, Mayor. So on the 12th, I did attend the Pole Center grand opening because I didn't hear that it wasn't happening. So I went, I saw, I left. It was very well attended. It was very exciting. I wish I used the bathroom, but I didn't because now I'm excited to see what the bathrooms look like. So anyway, I look forward to that in August. I also attended, then on the 13th, the CIO, the Tualatin CIO combined event. It was very nice and well attended. On the 18th, I attended the WCCCA Board of Commissioners meeting. We went through the budget. We went through kind of upcoming things. It's time to have radios updated again. So I think that process has started. Also, some conversation regarding the non-emergency line that they're using the AI. They're still testing AI on the non-emergency line. And there was some sort of weird phone glitch, so they've had to push that, put a pause in that for a little while. So I'm sure we'll hear more about that in a couple of months. But other than that, things are moving along with the work that body does. And then today, I was out on the links representing the city with for the Foundation of Tigard Tualatin Schools Tee Up for FORE for Schools event, which was well attended. And I don't know how it ended because I ended here. So anyway, it was a beautiful weather. And lots of sunscreen and lots of fun. So thank you for letting me represent you all.
Sure. Councilor Reyes.
No official meeting in the last, some time, but I did attend the CIO, sorry, CIO on the 13th, right, where I saw a lot of my fellow council members, and we hung out and just learned from the community, and it was a really nice event. It was pretty hot, so yeah. So that's all.
Right. Council President Pratt.
Okay, I'll try to go fast.
We've got a TDC meeting after this. So.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, right. Okay, I went to the U of O Sustainable City Year Program year-end celebration here, and it was really exciting. They did kind of a recap of all the different projects, and they were really excited, since you weren't here, that the mayor showed up all the way down in Eugene. Mm-hmm. And now apparently there's another mayor showing up down there, so you started something. Then I went to the Pride celebration. That was really welcoming and fun. I went to the R1 ACT meeting, and as you've heard from the mayor and I, it hasn't been going very well, and basically everybody asked, like, if we are supposed to be an advisory committee to the Oregon Transportation Committee, why do we just go and hear presentations? So I wrote a letter to Jeff Baker and actually met with him and discussed that, and he basically agreed with me. So I went to we had our CAC Downtown Revitalization meeting and scored some urban design study projects. We didn't get through them all. Sorry, Christian, but we got through most of them. And then I went to the PSU engineering finals, which was really fun, and they had their projects, and one of them was the idea for the tunnel under Boone's Ferry to the park, which was really interesting. And then other ones were having to do with stormwater management, which was also kind of interesting. And then I did go to the Juanita Pohl Welcome Back ceremony, and thankfully had some people at my table that were better at trivia than me. I went to the Midwest Martinez Woods CIO picnic and saw a bunch of you too. And then, let's see, Councilor Brooks and I went to the League of Oregon Cities Regional Presidents meeting, and they're looking to update their Oregon municipal policy. So that's something good for all of us to look at. And then when we come with that prioritization list, that's really going to be important this year. I went to C4 Metro, and they talked about this Vanpool Action Plan, which is a 3 to 5 year program where they actually buy these little kind of minivans, and then they try to get a group of people going in the same work area to pool together. So I'm glad at least Metro's looking at other ways to get people transported. 12 Together annual celebration was very fun. Then this weekend was the ribbon cutting at the Niber Creek Trail, which was really fun, and they had snow cones. And one of the great things I thought was when we were walking back down the trail, there were people in the neighborhood, at least a half a dozen people in the neighborhood just walking on the trail already, so that was great to see. And then I went to the River Park CIO Community Fair at the Heritage Center. Oh, and then today, sorry, one last thing. Today, Councilor Brooks and I and Sid and Aquila, we did a tour of the PGE Center, and they're planning to do another one in the fall, and if you can make it, I'd really recommend it. It is fascinating. It is like control center crazy. You're standing on the second floor looking down on, it's showing every substation in the Portland metro area. It's just amazing. And then the way they, it's like a stock market, how they buy and sell, the power. I thought it was fascinating and well worth attending. And that's it.
All right. I spent the last 3 weeks talking. Let me do mine first, and we'll go back to yours. Spent the last 3 weeks discussing the MTIP amendment at JPAC for the Interstate Bridge Replacement Project. The mayors of Washington County have been discussing this for the last several weeks. Met with Carly Francis, who is the IBR project administrator. We had a conversation, myself and Mayor DeLynn of Cornelius, who's the Washington County City's representative. I'm the alternate, where they try to sell us the project. Just a couple, I have a few notes here, and they're kind of random because the JPAC meeting went, not unexpectedly, very long on this topic. So the corridor itself is 5 miles from Oregon to Washington, and they've decided to do this in phases because they never expect to get full program funding for the whole 5 miles. So that would cause delays, so they're going to do this in bits and pieces. Tolling was discussed at length, and we were instructed that the Oregon and Washington Transportation Committees will be the ones setting rates, exemptions, and discounts, including the timing of low-income toll program. There is only a commitment from the program to get light rail to the Evergreen Station in Vancouver. There are no funds for that at this time. They only expect diversion of 3% or less between now and 2045 from folks deciding not to pay the pre-construction tolls and go to 205. Clackamas County is losing their you-know-what about the amount of diversion that could possibly totally clog up 205 even more. The one project estimate was for $7.65 billion, which is not all funded yet. And that would be a Columbia River bridge crossing with light rail service to Waterfront Station in Vancouver. Since there's no funds, that did not move forward. What we're looking at is a $5.68 billion project where the Columbia River Bridge will have width available for a future light rail service. So they will build the width out there on this bridge, but there'll be nothing crossing it in terms of light rail. They expect to start construction in 2028. There will be pre-construction tolling starting before 2028. What this MTIP amendment did was add a bunch more dollars into this project, unbelievable amount of dollars. For example, the tolling signage went from $24.5 million to $50 million allocated, for tolling, implementing tolling. And there's only, there's only $50.7 million allocated for transit, and that's for design only. So there's a $500 million to $1 billion hole to complete transit, light rail transit over the bridge. The mayors of Washington County met and discussed this, and one of our top priorities was to amend the MTIP amendment to include a priority on low-income tolling program to be implemented upon pre-construction tolling. Because if you look at their tolling scenarios, they envision not even looking at low-income tolling program until the bridge opens or as soon as practicable. So the Washington County mayors, I presented our proposal to JPAC because Mayor DeLynn couldn't make it, so I was primary for this wonderful meeting. That, the three things we thought this was, we wanted equity in transportation for all the users in the region. It would increase public trust in government, that we are actually looking at those people who don't have the funds to pay this toll back and forth every day, and supported Clackamas County on the impacts of diversion and increased cost of folks having to move around the area. We presented the amendment. There were three amendments. This amendment, an amendment from the city of Vancouver for a different definition of the corridor, and an amendment that was basically just verbiage for the federal government has changed the DBE program to something else. The DBE amendment passed. The city of Vancouver's request to change the name of the corridor and removing the words north and south corridor was failed. I further emphasize that the low income amendment did not slow construction nor increase costs. The only ask was that it be included possibly into the pre-construction and toll signage phases of the project and not implemented years later. That went down in flames. There was 3 yeses, 8 noes, and 3 abstentions to a low-income tolling program to be implemented sooner than later. This is the equity, folks, and finally, the bridge vote did pass. It was 9 yeses and 5 abstentions, with the 5 abstentions pretty notable that it was the Washington County mayors, it was Clackamas County, it was CTRAN, and the city of Vancouver are part of those 5. So a little bit discontent with it, but kind of similar to the Washington County Library. The JPAC had no choice. We had to either vote yes now or the whole bridge project could go into a failure situation if we didn't have this approved for federal funds matching. With that, Councilor Brooks said she had more.
Okay, thanks. Sorry about that, but there was a lot covered. I do want to say that I did substitute for Kristen at the last WRWC board meeting on the 9th, and she was vice chair and voted into chair, so hopefully she is good with that. It seemed like it was a done deal. So congratulations, Councilor Sacco. And I also want to say that the Tualatin Arts Advisory Committee met on the 16th. We discussed our plan as they discussed tonight. They're looking at the Arts Advisory Committee has been set up for quite a number of years, and they haven't formalized their policy yet, so that's what they're going to work on this year, so it'll be very interesting development. And the trail crossing was a really good experience. I also was at the PAB meeting. We had to change some of the allotments because a couple of the grantees changed their program design or something other than that. So we just moved up the the folks that were next for funding in the line, and there was also a great speaker that talked about advocacy, which the toolbox that she shared was really good. And I also attended the Clackamas County dinner in Oregon City, which was a little bit stunning, some of the updates from Clackamas County and how they've been cutting over there. I want to make sure that I have everything. 3 annual conference, okay. Oh, and then how you can, no time to spare, how you can mobilize to protect pollinators from pesticides. That is a good YouTube to look up and take a look at. And I had a question about what was it? The one I'm an alternate on. I keep getting, the MAC. So I keep getting emails from the MAC committee, and I don't know, I don't hear the reports about the MAC committee. There's been quite a few meetings and executive sessions. So I think that needs to be a conversation, and I'm not even sure if I should really be the alternate anymore, but I don't feel like we're getting updates, and I don't feel like I'm comfortable as far as that meeting being covered. So I've been trying to handle this nicely with emails, etc., and I've gotten to the place where my comfort level isn't there. So for a future work item, I would like to discuss my role on that committee as far as the alternate. So we have not gotten any reports from the chair of this committee, and we keep going over these rules, and I don't know what to do anymore. The other one is, don't forget, this is a more fun one, don't forget that we are having the Explore Tualatin Valley picnic, annual picnic for the first time in our very own park on Thursday this week from 3 to 6:30. And there's opportunities to go for a walk, to go on a kayak ride, and to eat free food. So please join me. Oh, and I also want to say happy Juneteenth. I went downtown to the Juneteenth celebration on the 19th after the trail crossing opening, and it was an excellent program downtown, and people had reached out to me that had been in the parade downtown, and also had been to Wilsonville and Tigard. So I just want to acknowledge those communities, and that's enough on me. Thank you.
Cindy? No, motion to adjourn.
Oh. I'm like, oh my God, I have to say it again. Okay, yes, I move to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn the 12th City Council meeting. We have a TDC meeting after this, so don't go anywhere. Any discussion on those motions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? It's unanimous. All right. Do you want a break, or do you want to just plow into the TDC meeting? It's up to Don. All right, let's go. Let's do it. All right. I now call to order the Tualatin Development Commission meeting. First item on the agenda is public comment. This is an opportunity for anyone to address the commission regarding an item that is not on tonight's agenda. Please keep your comments to about 3 minutes. If there's anyone here who would like to address the commission, this would be the appropriate time. Do we have anybody in the room? No. Anyone in Zoom? No. All right. That brings us to consent agenda. The consent agenda items considered routine. They will be adopted by one motion unless someone on the commission would like an item removed and heard separately later tonight. Tonight, the consent agenda consists of item number 1, consideration of the approval of the TDC meeting minutes of March 23rd, 2026.
I move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt the consent agenda as read. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Abstentions? It's unanimous. That moves us to public hearings. Consideration of resolution number 647-26, adopting the Tualatin Development Commission budget and making appropriations for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026. It's done again. Go ahead and open the hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Don Hudson. I'm the Assistant City Manager and Finance Director with the City of Tualatin. And in front of you is resolution number 647-26 to adopt the Tualatin Development Commission budget for the year commencing July 1st, 2026. Statutes require a adopted budget prior to July 1st. The Budget Advisory Committee adopted the budget approved the budget, passed it on to you on May 27th. There are no proposed changes by staff this evening. So the total commission budget is $8,063,705 across 5 funds and the 2 project areas. The TDC budget includes continued collection of tax increment in both the Southwest Urban Renewal District and the Core Opportunity and Reinvestment area. Continuing work on the downtown visioning project in Cora, as well as consultant dollars to begin infrastructure down in the Southwest Urban Renewal District. At that, I'll be happy to answer any more questions.
All right. With that, I'll go ahead and open to the public. Those who would like to comment in support of resolution number 647-26. Anyone in Zoom? No. Those who oppose resolution number 647-26. No one in the room, no one in Zoom. Those who just to give general comments, resolution number 647-26. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close public comment and now open deliberations / discussion of resolution number 647-26. Questions for Don?
I just want to thank everybody that was on the budget committee for coming. I see one of our budget committee members out in Zoom land. And that budget committee member, I think, went to more budget committees than I did because one of the budget committees, I was out of town. So thanks to all the volunteers that come out and do this process with us every year. And we really appreciate all the volunteerism and work that you do to contribute to the community.
I motion that we adopt resolution 647-26, adopting the Tualatin Development Committee budget for the year ending, or beginning 7/1/26.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 647-26, adopting the Tualatin Development Commission budget and make appropriations for the fiscal year commencing July 1st, 2026. Any discussion on those motions? Commissioner Sacco?
Aye.
Commissioner Hillier?
Aye.
Commissioner Reyes?
Yes.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks?
Aye.
Commissioner Pratt?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It's unanimous. The resolution is adopted.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn the commission meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Yippee.
Opposed? Abstentions? It's unanimous. Thank you. Good night.